What is going on, everybody? We're here. We're live once again. I don't know how this goes by so quick. Obviously, it's every 4 or 5 weeks, but sometimes it seems like it just sneaks up on you. Here we are, the last Sunday of September, and over here on RK Outpost Live. What that means is that you don't just have to listen to me. You're joined by a couple other people to voice their opinions about some of the current stuff going on, whether it's in video games, whether it's in the entertainment industry, or whatever happens to come up. Maybe football will come up today. I'm sure so many of my subscribers will love that if football comes up. Got to be honest, I got one eye on the television here as Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears are trying to punch it in from the 1-yard line. They have been so bad in the red zone this season, but there's a breakthrough. Bears touchdown. Let's fucking go. We're going to beat the Rams. Roschon Johnson punches it in. Yes, that's what I'm fucking talking about. But anyway, it's not really why you're here. It's not to listen to me get super excited about football. That's for Sports Wars. I just had to, though, because fuck yes. Thank God they scored and converted on that. But let's say hi to the people that are here. I see Emerald Eyes, Liam Neeson's chin, Lord Thoth, Star Wars Marvel Purist, who you'll see in just a few moments here. CJ Biggles, who you'll also see in a few moments. Gage Grosskreutz missing bicep. United Spacers Alliance maybe will make an appearance. Who knows today? Jose Taco. Brandon Day. Shout out to everybody who's hanging out. But without any further ado, we might as well introduce some of the guests. We do have, he's been a member of the channel for 5 years or something insane like that. We've got Biggles Mets. What's up, Biggles?
Hi. Yeah, so aren't the Bears beating a team that is on like all their third stringers already before the season started?
Rams are pretty injured. Yeah, I mean, before the season, if they had all their shit together, then the Rams probably would have been one of the interesting picks out of the NFC, but missing a couple really good wide receivers and a few key offensive linemen. It doesn't matter. You got to beat the team in front of you. And that's what the Bears are doing through the first half right now.
Well, that's all that matters. But I don't really know about any of the subjects. I know Rings of Power came out and they said they were going to be more towards the books. And it's like Sauron's going to bang Galadriel. Let's go. That's so in the books.
That's like the least of the worries about some of the ways they've bastardized shit in Rings of Power Season 2. It's so fucking bad. But thank you.
That's the only thing I've heard about it. So
they've definitely been leaning into the shipping for Sauron and Galadriel. But instead, Galadriel actually kissed Elrond in the most recent episode.
Wow. Yeah, that's in the books too.
Yeah, you know, who goes on to be her son-in-law. Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking awful.
Yeah, you can't even fucking predict some of this shit if you had to. But moving on, we've also got Gabriel Knight. What's up, Gabriel?
Not a whole lot. I just want to go ahead and apologize to Ubisoft on the failure of Star Wars Outlaws, and didn't have anything to do with review bombing. It had to do because core Star Wars gamers like myself didn't want to play your piece of shit game. So condolences.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. And Ubisoft it's very quickly changed, hasn't it? From everybody saying, oh, it's just a couple bad actors and it's really not having any impact, to now Ubisoft putting out massive damage control statements about, just so it's clear, we don't want to be viewed as an inherently political company. We just want to entertain people. And now journalists are mad that Ubisoft's taking this whole culture war thing seriously. They shouldn't. And it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, same old playbook.
Exactly. We've also got Grandmaster Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hi, guys. And I don't know about you, but where I'm from, everyone was kissing their mother-in-law, just like Elrond and Galadriel was. It's totally not weird at all. It totally does not go against the Catholic beliefs of Tolkien.
Yeah, you must be from the South. That's what it sounds like, Chris.
I am from the South.
Then those types of things wouldn't surprise me that much.
Yeah, all my family members live in mobile homes.
So you felt represented then when you saw a little in-law action.
I did, but that's not why I watch Lord of the Rings.
Fair enough. Exactly. It's very different when something, and from what we understand about the timeline, this is happening before, obviously, Elrond and Galadriel's daughter would get together, and probably even before Galadriel's daughter's even born, even though technically in the real timeline, she would have been born by now and all this shit. But still, nevertheless, there's a big difference between things like this happening in, say, the world of Ice and Fire and in the land of Middle Earth. Two very, very different value systems.
But hey, congratulations to Jeff Bezos. He did in fact get his Game of Thrones. It just so happens that he only got season 7 and 8.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've also got John Getz here, who he was like, "Hey, I'm wearing my Steelers jersey today, man. I'm feeling good about my Steelers." Picked the wrong game to do that so far.
They forced a punt from the Joe Flacco-led Colts. I was celebrating like you did when the Bears got that touchdown. I was like, we got one punt. We did it.
You finally get to see Justin Fields in a game where he needs to throw the ball a little. I'm excited about that.
Well,
I've been having to deal with fucking insane Justin Fields fans for the past 3 weeks, so I'm glad we're finally going to get a little taste of, how it feels to be Justin Fields down.
Yeah, well, you just whenever your offense is effectively run out the clock, even whenever it's a tied game, you're not trying to go for anything flashy. But
Exactly.
they made a classic blunder with that Lord of the Rings release. They tried to appeal to the incest audience on the same week as the Georgia-Alabama game. Obviously, that entire audience was watching that game this week, and they were not going to be tuning into Amazon.
That's a very fair point. I didn't even think about that, John. So I appreciate you bringing that up. We've also got, at least last but not least, who knows who might pop in throughout the stream. We've got Star Wars Marvel purist. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Trying to struggle through this Agatha shit. I decided I dropped one video late as hell on it, and I'm just not, after suffering through the Wokalite, which I did lots of videos on that one. I'm pretty much doing a summary video on what lore they should have used to do some world building for the supernatural Marvel universe instead of this, which basically is derived off no source material. And I don't know if you're going over the spoilers from Funko Pops or whatever today, but yeah, it's just garbage.
Yeah, I mean, Funko Pop put it out. It appeared to be an image that it would indicate that Aubrey Plaza's character in some way is death.
Yeah.
Which I said this before. If I was Thanos, I would make the same decision if I was trying to get Aubrey Plaza. I'd fucking snap away half the universe to fucking get in that pussy. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed about if you're Thanos in that situation, okay?
Of course not. That's why he did it in the comics, But yeah, they're putting her in at on the back end, just like they put in Eros at the end of the Eternals movie and Pip the Troll, characters that were actually in the Infinity Gauntlet saga. So it's kind of weird the way they're shuffling the decks, kind of.
Yeah, I agree. What was that?
Simp.
Go watch Legion. Aubrey Plaza is freaking awesome in Legion, and that's a freaking real Marvel show.
I actually like Aubrey Plaza and a lot of the stuff that she's in. This series is just, it's rough to watch. It's not even it's not as terrible or bad or anything like that as something like The Acolyte. As of this point, it's just like maybe 40-year-old women find it funny. Do you know what I mean? And it's just not fucking made for me. And that's how I feel watching it at this point in time. The more interesting part I thought was when the ratings came out, and so many of these fucking people immediately, just like they did for The Acolyte, completely and totally misunderstood and provided no context whatsoever for the 9.3 million views. And they thought, oh, look, we beat Penguin and all this stuff. And it was so bad that even some of the these Twitter accounts out there that constantly post news had to put out something to clarify. By the way, this is 7 days for global views. The Penguin had 5.3 million views just in the United States in 4 days, because there were so many people that were taking it out of context.
And then weren't they also trying to compare it to WandaVision, but then comparing it 7 days versus the 5 days, and it was off by about 3 million. And they're like, oh yeah, it's generally in the same area. Yeah, only 3 million, viewer difference. Yeah, it's weird how they kind of play with the numbers.
Yeah, I think even Variety, when they reported it, it was something to the effect of, this is roughly on par with Percy Jackson and the Olympians with 13.5 million views in 6 days. Like, what do you mean roughly on par? It had an extra day and had 40% fewer viewers. Like, how is that roughly on par? That makes absolutely zero sense.
A big round. You're rounding up a lot higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, very roughly on par. Very roughly on par.
Our margin of error was 100%, so just basically in the same number, really.
I think you pointed out the biggest underlying thing in that story, though, is Rings of Power being so low and all the money like pumped into that, because I think they do get to using like some practical effects in Agatha and stuff. So I mean, I'm sure it doesn't really affect their budget because they're just pumping things through anyways. But I mean, if they did use practical in theory, you think it would be a little bit of a lower budget as well.
Well, from what I've seen so far in Agatha, there's nothing that would indicate to me that there should be much of a budget. Like this last episode was like just in a fucking house.
Yeah. It's not a period piece. You have a relatively small cast. There's no huge like action sequences. It's just people drinking wine.
See Acolyte, though. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't look like that had a $200 million budget.
But at least every one of those, it's like, it does have to be a pretty unique set to build and a lot of costuming and effects and things like that, even when it's as little as a spaceship taking off or something.
True.
The entire landscape, of course, there at least is stuff in that you're like, okay, maybe if you have no fucking clue what you're doing, you could end up wasting a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
For Agatha, that's not something I see yet. But who knows? Or 3 episodes into 8 episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
Lady Wendelin wants to clarify something. 40-year-old women do not find it funny. That's what Lady Wendelin says.
Thank you.
Dumb over 40 people might. So I'm glad we got clarification on that.
That scene in the candle shop is one of the most painful just exchanges of dialogue where he's like going on her social media like, oh, I see you had this I really clogged up my pores, but your candles really help. I'm just like, what the fuck? Is this
not only that,
show?
It's a nod to Gwen Paltrow, though, right? I mean, and then she tastes the candle. Oh my god, man, that's like a little on the nose.
Yeah, we do have a couple other additions. We've got Sir Reefer, who he saw we were talking about Ubisoft games, and it's actually his favorite company ever.
Oh
So
yeah,
it
totally. Don't he?
was-
I think if you guys remember the screenshot from last time, level 500 account, dude. Fuck.
Exactly.
These games suck dick.
Reefer heard the name Ubisoft and decided to get off the shitter.
Oh,
That
my
was
blood
you.
started boiling, and I had to let some shit out, boys.
Ghost Recon isn't
What?
bad.
Listen, as someone who has played Rainbow Six Siege since launch, I can tell you right now there is not a good developer at Ubisoft anymore. Okay, the OG. Okay, I played Siege because I played Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 on the original Xbox. I was like, oh, a multiplayer version of Rainbow Six? Fucking give it to me. And now I have 6,000 hours.
My condolences.
That's nuts. And we also have one more person who I think this might be their first time on this show. We've got Yo Pops. What's up, Yo Pops? Yo Pops is muted.
What's up, guys? Now, I've been here on like once since a while ago, though.
Okay. You sound like you're on your phone.
I am.
All right. We could still hear you, though. So
All right. If
hope
there's
you're
any
doing-
issues, if there's any issues, just let me know. I'll either try to fix it. If not, I could fuck off out of here. So just let me know.
All right.
Fuck
sounds
off.
good.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't F off.
Everybody just starts yelling at him.
Always happens. Always
We
happens.
were kind of starting off the conversation talking about some of these streaming shows that are out right now, and Agatha and Rings of Power. We just kind of got some official numbers for both of them, one from the Nielsen ratings and one from the Disney's release of their views for Agatha, and that's all coming on the heels of Penguin premiering and like a shockingly good premiere for the Penguin, which I can't say that I was like looking forward to it or anything. I enjoyed the Batman, and I was going to watch the Penguin at some point, but it's not something I was hyped for at all. and it comes out. I hear good things. I watch it. I'm like, holy shit, this first episode kicked ass for me. I thought it was really good. And now I'm invested in seeing what happens tonight because it's coming out Sunday nights at this point. But it
Ooh, they
really
took
is.
over the House of the Dragon slot.
It did, yeah. And that's what HBO does with a lot of their kind of premiere series.
Yeah.
They like to put them out on those Sundays, and it's obviously worked very well for them in the past. And I think that makes more sense than putting them out, say, I don't know, Wednesday at 3 a.m.
Well,
you know, like they do with some of this stupid shit.
It's because all the Christians that inhabit the U.S. and the Western world don't go to work on Sundays.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like for years and years, HBO kind of developed Sunday nights as their kind of premiere night. And we've seen different premiere nights in the course of streaming television. Thursday nights used to be a really big night for some reason, especially for a couple comedies and things like that. But I think it's a good idea for them to put it on a Sunday. I think they debuted it on a Thursday because they very specifically wanted to give people a weekend's worth of numbers to report back, which is probably a good idea.
Yep.
But now it's officially coming out Sundays.
It beats Disney dropping shit at 2 a.m. I mean, at least I guess they finally discovered that's not a good idea, right?
What? You mean releasing shows based on GST isn't a good idea? Who'd have fucking thought?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Penguin was pretty surprised, like, because I barely got around to watching it like a day or two ago, but yeah, it's pretty good. I like what Colin Farrell's doing. I'm just wondering how much connection they're going to put in, and you know where it's going to go. So I guess we'll see.
Who was the crazy lady's name? Or what was the crazy lady's name?
Sophia, I think.
Yeah, she was really good too. I thought she was
Yeah,
interesting.
I didn't know what to expect from her when she got introduced, and then it turns out she's like legit, like insane person. So it's really going to be like a wild card dealing with her.
Insane and smart. Yeah, it's like she can see through his bullshit a little better than others.
She sees through his bullshit, but at the same time, she's fucking insane. Yeah. So it might be pretty easy to gaslight her that she's wrong about a bunch of shit. And that was like the entire point of that scene. It was like her trying to confirm, am I seeing through you, or am I just fucking crazy? Do I actually belong in Arkham with all those people?
Tell me.
And then he completely does that twist at the end to make them all think that he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, Lord Thoth, that's the one that you go to her place, not yours. Okay, that's just some advice.
Made that mistake before.
You don't even give them your real name.
I haven't done that before, but
I have.
I am.
I'm Rian, Rian Johnson. Wait.
I've been to Grippy Sock Jail. It's an interesting time.
Yeah, I actually got a chance to watch the Penguins sometime this week, and much like everyone else, I was not expecting much, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it's also because like I do enjoy the aesthetic that comes from the Batman, how Gotham is like this torn down, industrialized mess of a city that like nobody would ever want to live in, but they kind of have to because they can't afford anything better. And as a result, it's overrun with crime bosses. And I really enjoy that, plus the whole dynamic of Penguin and Falcone and Maroni, which, by the way, Clancy Brown, what a great actor he was.
Yeah, it was crazy to have Clancy Brown just stroll in there. You're like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that.
SpongeBob, I need more Krabby Patties.
That was a terrible Mr. Krabs
That sounded
impression.
more like the Muppet, the Grover.
I don't know what that was.
That was disrespectful.
Did you guys know that?
Eugene Krabs?
Hello, I like money.
That was a little better. There you go.
It's not a little Irish, but yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Is
like
this supposed to be a one-off season with the Penguin? Like, if this thing takes off, like, how are they going to manage having this separate Batman universe with James Gunn's DCU?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think there is any. This is definitely a limited series thing, and I think probably whatever happens in this series may have some effect on the second Batman movie that comes out. We're not getting shit after that for any of these projects. I just don't think they're going to allow it to happen while James Gunn's DC universe is running. and they're
'Cause
trying to
DC
establish their own Batman and their villains and stuff.
Because DC has no idea what they're doing.
Well, like this was their, hey, we've fucked around, gone back and forth for a while. Let's just get a new fucking vision and go. The things that they already had some contracts for and didn't want to upset things were with Matt Reeves and with the Penguin series and with his Batman 2. And I think after that, they're just all in on whatever James Gunn has planned. So that is the plan. The plan is James Gunn. But there's still obviously have a couple things to fall out and pieces that still need to come out from that.
It's not like Batman's a character people get sick of, so they can throw it out and then do another rebooted version and they'll be fine.
They're not going to care. Yeah. I mean, the Batman made what, almost $800 million worldwide, something like that, which, you know, not spectacular, but considering the performance of other standalone superhero movies right now, it's not bad. And they made money on it, which is more than you could say for most superhero movies that come out right now too.
Yeah, compared to like all the other movies that DC have recently released, that's a great number for the Batman. You compare it to something like Blue Beetle, which nobody watched, or
Blue Beetle,
Shazam
Shazam 2, Aquaman, Black Adam. Yeah.
The one thing they announced that Gunn is doing, or well, I know it was on the original slate, is Swamp Thing. Like, I'd like to see. In fact, I don't know if he was going to direct it himself, but I mean, he's done horror and whatnot. But I know Swamp Thing was on the list of stuff that was originally announced. That would be.
Are they
cool
actually doing a Swamp Thing, or was that Creature Commandos?
No, they're doing a Swamp Thing. Well, at least it was announced. That's back when they said Waller, the Mascara, and all the other shit they had lined up.
Yeah, I was subbed to the DC app back whenever it was a separate thing, and they had the Swamp Thing show and that horrible Titans show where that was famous for the trailer where he's like, "Fuck Batman," Robin said in the beginning of it when they were in their edgiest phase.
Is that the one with?
Yeah, that's the James Mangold movie. James Mangold's doing Swamp Thing with James Gunn, right?
Okay.
Oh, is it Mangold doing it? Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, Mangold's got a pretty good. I mean, obviously, you throw out Indiana Jones because of
I was just about to say
tampering.
Ford
But
v
I mean, it
Ferrari,
doesn't matter.
though.
Go all the way back to Copland, like James Mangold. Like I would say, all of his movies, excluding Indiana Jones, which I haven't even seen, but all his movies are pretty much like above average or great. Like he has a couple maybe that are just okay, but for the most part, they're all above average in my opinion.
Yeah, and he has experience with superheroes because wasn't he the one who directed Logan?
Logan and the Wolverine, which again, that third act was kind of, I think that's because they switched writers and I don't know. They should have just went with a different concept of Silver Samurai, but
While that fight still sucks, there is a R-rated version of that movie that I have on Blu-ray, and it is a lot better, especially at the end, where the end fight with the ninjas is pretty short in the regular version. In the R-rated version, it just goes like full ham. He fights them for. It makes for a pretty awesome action scene. Now, the
Well, it
ending
should have
on
been
against the CGI guy still sucks, but
it should have been released rated R though. That's like that
Yes.
Frank Miller, Chris Claremont Wolverine run is like legendary, man. It's pretty violent. So
I just remember it ends with Wolverine sparking an explosion and lighting his cigar with it as it explodes and kills a bunch of ninjas. And I'm like, that was pretty fucking cool. It was just gratuitous.
I saw this question. Are you excited for Superman 2025? I can't say that I'm excited about it, but I'm not sitting there actively hating on it or hoping for it to fail or anything. I think that there's like some maybe questionable choices about how many characters are involved and jumping right into this this world that is already like very full of superheroes. And maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe we do get too caught up in some of these origin stories and stuff and don't get to tell some really cool stories. But I don't have complete faith that that James Gunn's going to be able to pull off a Superman movie. But
Yeah,
I'm
to be fair,
open to it. I feel pretty neutral about it in general.
To be fair, who's been excited about anything coming out nowadays? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to be
Occasionally,
excited.
I mean, I got excited for something like Dune 2. I was excited for that release.
Yeah.
But
Like it's very like small, like very just no one's like really like excited like they used to be like back in the day, like every couple months. Like, oh yeah, this is coming out. But it seems like nowadays it's like even the scraps, if it's like just a modicum of good, then it's like okay, we'll kind of get excited for it. But as far as like excited, I mean, I don't think I felt that way in a while. As far as
I'm
movies
excited
go.
for like Nosferatu. That's probably the last thing of the year that I'm excited for. Like Salem's Lot, I'm kind of interested in that one as well. But like Nosferatu looks pretty damn good. I think Robert Eggers is a good director, and man, I would have loved to see like McFarlane actually land him to do like a Spawn movie. That would be pretty sick.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm excited for some video games that come out next week.
Yes.
Like
Video
what?
games have had some good stuff.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which I took 2 weeks off to play, and then Metaphor Refantasio, because I've been saying it wrong this whole time. And that's like the successor to Persona. It's from the same company. It's got the people that worked on Neon Genesis Evangelion doing the ship designs. It's got the people who worked on Nier doing the city designs. And the demo's out right now, and I've been playing it. I put some of that on my channel. Shameless plug, I'm sorry. But I've been having a blast. Like my thumbnails are just like live reactions of my face during the scenes that I put as the thumbnail. So it's just, I've been having a blast with the demo. And then Sparking Zero, I played it at Anime Impulse, and I want to get my hands back on that game, and I have to wait a week. So I want it. And then there's the Goblin Slayer English version at the end of the thing, and I'm obsessed with Goblin Slayer, so I gotta go play it.
Nice.
God, I could use some of that optimism over here, man. I need some of that optimism, dude.
Hey, here's one that already came out. I got my freaking Astro Bot controller. It's one of the best platformers I've ever played. It was just a fucking 10 out of 10 game that they announced like 2 months before it came out, and they just drop it. And right after fucking Concord, Sony's like, oh, here's an actual game, by the way.
$400 million down the drain for Sony.
According to my 7-year-old nephew, that Astro Boy game or whatever it's called is the greatest game to ever be made on the face of the earth.
It does look fun.
John Getz was simping for Astro Boy for like 2 months before its release. I'm like, well, doesn't look like my thing, but go for it.
Hey, anything to get him stop playing fucking Outlaws is a win. That's a net positive.
I had a whole argument for this afterwards because somebody was like, oh, Outlaws is obviously better value for your money. It's this huge open world. I can complete Astro Bot in 15 hours or 10. I'm like, dude, I would rather play Astro Bot 10 times before you get me to play 1 more minute of fucking Outlaws. I could not. I was going to go for the Platinum Trophy, and I just quit because I was like, I can't play anymore.
Plus, you spent all your time at the Sabacc table.
That's literally all I did was just play Sabacc like half my gameplay.
Oh, did they have like another bar mini game or some shit in this one?
They had betting on horse races, which that's pretty boring. You sometimes hear that they're fixed from somebody, and so you can make a bet and make some money. But like Sabacc actually is interactive. It's fairly simplified from the actual versions. I mean, there's a few different rule sets. I was kind of reading up on it afterwards because I'm like, this is the one interesting thing in this game.
Do they have the Idiot's Array, like I asked, or no?
The Idiot's Array? I don't think so. There's a number of like cheat cards.
Sabacc is basically like blackjack, except you're dealing with a number of 23, and you can have cards that represent both positive and negative values. So you're looking for it all at the end of the day to add up to about either 23 or negative 23.
Not to be confused with Pazak, which is blackjack, but the target number is 20.
Yes, Pazak is like, well, Pazak is a super simplified version of Sabacc. That's really what Pazak is. For the Coach game.
Well, no, I was gonna say because I can't remember if they did this in Fallen Order because it's been a long time since I've played that game. But in Jedi Survivor, in the cantina, you could play Holo Tactics.
Oh, that one was actually decent.
And Holo Tactics was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I don't think you could do that in Fallen Order. I don't even remember there being a cantina in Fallen Order.
I don't remember the Fallen Order either.
I don't think it was in. It definitely was the second, but I couldn't remember if they did something like it in the first because your home base in the first was just your ship. Was just the fuck. What's it called?
The Mantis.
The Mantis. Yep.
The Mantis.
What's the one from Rebels called? Their like main ship.
Ghost?
Yeah, there it was. I get those two mixed up sometimes.
I just recently watched Always Sunny, so when you say Mantis, I just think of Mantis Toboggan. Jackson Cagle for 2 says, sup RK, hail chat. What's up, Jackson? Inspirian for 199 sends a super sticker. It's a #1 foam finger. Thank you, Spirian.
You know, one game oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Darth Paw says horse races on Canto Bite. I don't know if you can you do that? Don't you go to Canto Bite in Star Wars Outlaws?
You
do go to Canto Bite.
Freed. Yeah, it's the level you start off on, where the bartender, for absolutely no reason, supports Kay and everything to the point where he'll take blaster shots for her to hide that she's upstairs. Where the villains go, we know Kay Vess is here. He goes, she's not here. Okay, I guess we won't search upstairs then, even though she's just sitting upstairs right now. We'll just leave. Like,
you know what was so fun in the KOTOR games was sloop racing or swoop racing.
Swoop racing.
Like when you
swoop racing was awesome.
Do swoop racing. It's so stupid. Such a dumb little mini game, but it was fun as fuck.
Yeah.
What's up, Sleazy?
What's up,
going
Sleazy?
on?
Jesus,
you in the middle of a move?
No, I'm in Asia right now.
Oh, of course you are.
You are?
Yeah.
How is it there?
Asian hookers, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's hitting up them Thai lady boys.
Lady boys.
No Thailand for me.
Well, enjoy your Asia time. If you had time to keep up with some of the best and worst of entertainment over the past couple of weeks, we were just talking a little bit about the Penguin, Agatha, and Rings of Power a little bit.
I liked the Penguin though. It wasn't fantastic, but it was a decent show for 2024.
I really liked it, like to the point where I'm like invested now in seeing how the series plays out. I was very like surprised because I liked the Batman very famously, and I thought Colin Farrell as the Penguin was fine. He had a very limited role in the movie, but it's not like the idea of a spin-off Penguin show had me, oh my God, I can't wait. But I was like, I'll check it out when I get a chance. And I heard really good things about it. The first scene, like that first 10 minutes, really hooks you. Like after you see the reaction to that and the fallout from that very impulsive decision from Penguin. And now I'm invested in seeing how it all plays out, man. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep watching it.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, watch Penguin and also watch Tulsa King because that show's awesome.
Yes. Oh yeah, I've seen clips of that show and it seems pretty good.
The Tulsa King premiere beat out Rings of Power.
Yes,
on the Samba TV charts for the week that it came out, which
holy fuck,
it is embarrassing when you consider that Paramount Plus probably has 60 or 70 million total subscribers, period. Whereas Amazon Prime Video has bragged about having over 200 million, over 200 million global Prime Video users. Like that's embarrassing. Yeah, Tulsa King is good, but it's on such a small platform. There's no way that even the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th episode of Rings of Power should be below it, yet it is. That is a sad state of affairs for Amazon. They're losing so much fucking money on this garbage.
Well, I mean, to be fair for Amazon, like how many people on Prime are just those that got the Prime membership just for like the shipping, that don't necessarily like watch videos and stuff? Because I was kind of in that boat, and then I started like going on to Prime Video, but I only got it just for like the shipping stuff, So
that's one of the things that we don't exactly know about Amazon that they haven't revealed. All we know is that I think it was maybe earlier this year, they finally gave us the first indication of how many of people that have Prime have actually used it. They said they have over 200 million monthly Prime Video users. So that's kind of how everyone's comparing it, which would be the biggest other than Netflix.
It's quite appropriate.
Unfortunately, their library kind of fucking sucks, man. I don't find like a lot of good stuff, like especially like movie wise. Like I can find better shit on Tubi,
Well,
it's quite appropriate that a shipping service, their flagship show, is all about shipping.
That's a good one. Amazon Prime has this really awful show from Canada that has Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh god.
And it's called Todd versus the Book of Pure Evil. It's fucking horrible, but I couldn't stop watching it, and it's fucking hilarious. Wow. But it's fucking awful. So go waste your time watching it. You'll thank me later.
No thanks.
It sucks, but go watch it, guys.
I
It-
wonder
it-
how Amazon counts their numbers though, because like I watched Tulsa King through the Paramount Plus extension on Amazon Video. So is that like, because I'm watching it on the
true.
Prime Video app, but are they counting those watch times and viewer like the hours and everything as part of their
I bet you they
platform?
counted on both. They probably like double dip on that or something. You know what I mean? Just to like get the numbers up. I bet.
That'll go
I'd be surprised.
towards like a lot of these platforms do have agreements with each other like that. Like even YouTube, I think YouTube has an agreement like that with some of the others. And I know that the actual numbers will go to like the series that you're watching on whatever network it is.
Okay.
In terms of what that fucking means for Amazon, I don't know. Like, I don't know what that means other than, hey, we're getting $20 million from Paramount for this agreement that we have that people can also watch Paramount stuff here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like the benefit to it. I don't fucking know.
And at the end of the day, like ultimately none of this really matters because Amazon's a $1 trillion company. So if they cancel Rings of Power tomorrow, it won't mean anything because as we keep saying, it's a vanity project. It's Jeff Bezos wanting to have his own fantasy show like Game of Thrones, and he tried, and it's a complete failure.
It's like the entire Xbox platform for Microsoft in the last quarter century.
Yeah, because
They don't really care if they don't make any money. They're just like, we have a practical monopoly on Office and these computer OSs, and everything on Steam has to run on Windows anyway, so we kind of own gaming from that perspective. Yeah, and so we don't really care if we spend $80 billion to buy some IPs for Xbox because we'll use them elsewhere too.
And that's
We get tax breaks on that too. If they lose money on it, you know what I mean?
Well, no, because in those business dealings, they would have to inherit Activision's debt, Activision Blizzard's debt. And I know the Blizzard end of that was holding Activision back, and Call of Duty's been shitting the bed since Ghosts.
Even with those WoW subscriptions still going on, there's still a few million people playing monthly for WoW.
Oh, yeah, but they're not nearly as profitable as they used to be, and their costs have bloated beyond fucking belief. This is my tism. It's terrible. The good devs that know, and because all their and it shows in their game file sizes. Game file sizes have gotten huge over the last 5 years. You want to know how big like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, not Modern Warfare 2019 Part 2,
500 gigs or something.
No, the old one, the one from 07,
like 9 gigabytes,
9.2,
9.2.
Over 9,000. No.
Meanwhile, the newest one is over 100 gigabytes.
Yeah, the newest one, you can't even have a different game on your PlayStation or your Xbox. It takes up the entire storage.
Yeah, it's well over 100. I heard somebody like float that out there as like, well, maybe the theory is they just make it really big for no reason so that it's the only thing you have installed and you just have to play it. You're like too lazy to try to uninstall it and do something else.
No, I
I
like that meme, and it definitely did cross my mind initially when I started noticing this shit. But I was like, there's no. I started looking into dev teams a lot more because I don't know if you guys know this. Please, for the love of God, don't buy Black Ops 6. Play it for free if you've got like Game Pass or something. But all the original devs at like Treyarch and Infinity Ward, they don't work there anymore. Even Vonderhaar has left Treyarch. He left him a year and a half ago. Like that is why Zombies sucks. That is why Call of Duty sucks. And there's a lot more intervention from Activision. And then you've got Sledgehammer making games, and they always have server issues. But what they're doing is they've been hiring incompetent devs who can only fucking make spaghetti code. And it's the same thing with Ubi shit and fucking Siege, because Siege is still built on a 2015 engine. They have not updated it once.
What about Madden's Frostbite engine? That's highly advanced these
days. Frostbite was never intended for Madden. It was created by DICE for Battlefield. When EA bought DICE, they mandated every game be built in Frostbite.
You don't
Well, that's-
understand though. There's realistic tackling this year's Madden. We swear it's not the canned animations again. I know we've been saying this for 10 years straight, and we basically released the same game, and it somehow runs worse every year. I don't understand how that works.
Anybody who still buys Madden should get what they
Someone come to
deserve.
your house and like tackle you during the game or what? Like what?
No, they always claim they've got realistic like tackling physics and shit like that in every new iteration of the game. But I distinctly remember as a young child, voice crack there. Whew, I'm getting mad.
So we're going through puberty again.
Still a
just
young
like-
child.
Thought you just hit puberty.
Puberty's in.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing a Madden 05 banner in the Madden 06 custom stadium creator for your create a team. And I was like, wait a second. What game am I playing right now? So I had to check the 2006 case to make sure, because this was on PlayStation 2, to make sure I had the right disc in. And I was like, what the fuck?
But you made a good point there, Reefer, about like the people who make these games popular in the first place eventually leaving, and that's what causes the quality to diminish.
Well,
That's something I've seen with one of my favorite gaming companies of all time is BioWare. They make They made KOTOR. They made the Mass Effect trilogy, which is I love those games so much, but a lot of the people who made those games in the first place, they're not there anymore, and they're now replaced by people with blue hair. So you look at Dragon Age Veilguard, and it speaks for itself. All the good people are not there anymore. It's a big reason why I'm very hesitant to get excited about GTA 6, because a lot of the big names at Rockstar have left.
You're never getting that game.
Man,
That's not true. It's coming out. What are you talking about?
It's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
You are not getting the GTA 6 you are wanting to get. I promise you.
Well, that's a different story then.
Dude, he's playing GTA 3.
We all had those memes of all the stuff that came out in the world before GTA 6 came out. So I mean, how much more longer we gotta wait?
To be honest, there's not much motivation for Rockstar to like rush it, because they've made more money in the subsequent years based off GTA Online than they did even selling like the original copies of GTA 5.
Well,
one of the biggest games in history.
If you think about it, what Rockstar managed to do was make a third/first person shooter MMO on accident, right? It's an MMO RPG that they just kind of like it. At first, that mode sucked donkey dick. I'll tell you that because I played it on release. It was broken as fuck. It was buggy as fuck. I was max level day 2 because I found a guy who figured out a fucking glitch, and I had infinite money. Yeah, it was bad. It was a lot like Red Dead 2 Online, which I wish they would have put more time into. Sorry, that's a tangent for another time. Anyway, what Rockstar managed to do is they created World of Warcraft for the FPS guys, for the first and third person role players, right? It
kind of true,
and they did the live service in such a way that they were able to get your initial price for buying the campaign, which was fantastic. Like the story mode was incredible on that game. I'm not taking anything away from GTA. But Rockstar found the WoW formula for guys who didn't like WoW. That's what it is, right?
Why didn't they make Red Dead
GTA
Online?
5 is awesome. Like the storyline for GTA, I think is fucking amazing. I've played through it like 4 or 5 times on 3 or 4 different platforms. You know what I mean?
I like the game. Yeah, I like the game so much. I let myself download the Epic launcher to get it for free.
Why did they make Red Dead Online as good as Grand Theft Auto Online?
Because GTA 5 was far too profitable, and why would you ever divert resources away from your cash cow?
Shark cards, baby.
I don't know if it's just about that. I think some of it has to do with the nature of those 2 games in and of themselves. Like,
you're not going to have as many people interested in cowboys as you are just being a thug in the modern day.
And not even like so much that, but just there's not as many people in general. Like there's not as many NPCs because a lot of it's just vast fucking random wilderness that you're going through. You have to ride a horse a long way to get to like an interesting area. It's just like things like that. I just don't think are specifically well built for
Right.
the same online
Well-
experience. I think it can be
Well,
still cool and fun, but I just don't think it's going to have the mass appeal that GTA 5 Online did.
Yeah,
I think they dropped the ball on that because they could have done so much more to resolve the issues you're saying, and it would have been a relatively easy fix. But they really did just divert everything into GTA.
Yeah.
Especially since it's not like it was a niche audience. They sold like 40 million copies of Red Dead 2. I realize that's nothing compared to GTA 5, but why not have two massively popular online games like in different genres?
Yeah,
40 million is nothing to sneeze at as far as a
And also-
player base.
No, there. In my opinion, Rockstar was still in the mindset of we're making money here. That's what our focus is, right? And so I'm assuming there is some piece of data internally that we as the public are not aware of that made it to where just focusing on GTA was so much more profitable than trying to split focus into both online live services that it just wasn't worth it. Right? The rot, so to speak, hadn't quite hit Rockstar as hard.
Maybe they got some idiot like Jim Ryan who wanted to make like 12 live service games with all the studios that they buy at Sony instead of just pumping out a massive amount of fun single player games. They were just like, no, what people associate with PlayStation is live service hero shooters. It's like, no, you literally saved your console and PS3 by putting out a bunch of awesome single player games that people want. It's not that they're going to buy the console for one of them, but you build up a library. Like I never understood it. Like you look at Nintendo, you look at Microsoft in gaming. One's super successful, super profitable. The other one, their console is practically gone at this point, is like they're just moving to PC. And they said, let's copy the one that failed more.
Because Microsoft still hasn't recovered from the Xbox One reveal back in 2013, where they said, "Hey, we've got a console that's made not for gamers but for everyone else."
Yeah, that was an issue. That I will say that's kind of where they really started their slide downward. The issue started to crop up within the 360 release and life cycle. Well,
the late cycle of Kinect, or the late cycle of 360, like 2010 or so onwards. I feel like it really got there.
Yeah, I'm looking more at the release of the Slim, the black model, or the white model. I'm backwards.
Oh,
Sorry.
it comes back to colors, huh? You just don't like it?
No, the original Xbox 360 and even the Slim, but to a slightly lesser degree, they had design flaw issues from a from a hardware standpoint, which is why you got your Red Ring of Death. They finally figured it out 3 years ago. They figured it out 3 years ago.
Microsoft figured out how to make a computer
I got
not
rings
explode.
of death like 3 times, man.
Anyway, you want to know what it was? You want to know what it was? It was the solder they used on their power rails.
Which is funny because I never got red ringed when I had a 360.
Did you have a white one?
I think I had a white one.
Okay.
It's always better to go white.
You got lucky. You like genuinely, those things literally had like a 60% failure rate over time.
I know people that had 5 of them go bad on them.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's because of an EU regulation right before the console was slated for first production runs. They mandated that you couldn't use leaded solder in your electronics, so they had to swap to an unleaded solder, and they just did it worldwide because it was cheaper than having to make use different solder for the US versus the EU. And if you don't know this, unleaded solder is very brittle and fragile, especially when it's exposed to high amounts of heat. Well, the case design of the original 360 suffered from overheating issues.
Yeah.
Yes. And that was also a common problem. People didn't think it was that bad, though, right? Well, the overheating is what caused your Red Ring of Death, which is why the fix was to pull it out of the plastic case and bake it in the oven on low heat so that you could reset the fucking solder.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
I feel like they overcompensated with the Xbox One though, because it was less powerful.
Yes,
and it had the power supply outside of it, whereas the PS4 was more powerful, had the power supply inside, and was somehow way smaller. And the fucking Xbox One was this giant VCR looking thing because they were like, we need airflow. We cannot have this happen again.
Yeah,
and another problem with the Xbox One is whereas the PS4 had built up a great library of exclusives, the Xbox didn't really have that, and a lot of their exclusive franchises from the 360 era were starting to like dip in quality. Look at Halo. Halo fell off a cliff once Bungie left and started switching to 343. And you also look at something like Gears of War. That franchise also kind of fell off. So like they couldn't rely as much on their exclusives as the PS4 was.
Well,
Because the PS4, you had like Last of Us Remastered, Horizon Zero Dawn, and God of War. Whereas with Xbox, the exclusives they had just weren't very appealing.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the last 15 years of gaming basically summed up. You know, when it comes to those two at least.
Elites, those 360 elites, were they like 450 or something? I think I went through 2 of them.
yeah, they
Something
were.
like
Yeah,
that.
I
What's
pre-ordered
up,
mine.
Anchor? How's it going, man?
What's up? Yeah, I had that whole going. I went through about 5 Xbox 360s
Yeah.
throughout,
You can-
and especially when you take them down range and deployments, they die and you have them all ripped apart. And
Yeah.
I just use mine as a placeholder for PlayStation 3 because I've always been more of a PlayStation guy myself. But
Well, I bought the $600 PlayStation 3 back in 2007 for Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. This is my favorite PS2 series. I'm like, I don't care if it's $600. I need to have the next Ratchet and Clank. And it was a pretty
So-
fucking awesome game.
That
That was a
$600
fun
worth a
game.
lot back then too.
Yeah.
Crazy
So-
amount of money back then, dude.
the
I
Godfather game was awesome. Remember that Godfather game?
Oh, yeah.
I never played
kinda-
that one.
There's a
Kind of
MLB The Show, that was the one that made. Well, I mean, I was going to get a
No.
PlayStation anyways. But
Oh,
MLB
yeah.
The Show and
No,
Mortal
no.
Kombat 9 3D.
Screw
bought-
MLB The Show. Take me back to MLB 2K.
Ooh.
What about Warhawk? You guys
listen,
ever played
if we-
Warhawk?
I would like to go back to like Ken Griffey Jr. baseball or
Yeah,
like
Ken Griffey.
Danny
Oh,
Folks and Triple
man.
Play, right?
Oh,
Give me
yeah.
some of that.
That's man. Damn.
What was the name of that one baseball game where you could like the pitcher could hit the batter in the face and like the two would get into fights with each other?
Oh,
that-
there was a lot of them.
Slugfest. Slugfest.
Oh,
MLB Slugfest.
Was that like the NBA Jam version?
No, it's the Blitz, NFL Blitz, and NHL Hits version of baseball. Slugfest.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
I still like the robot one. What the fuck was that called? I always forget the name of it. It was like for the Nintendo or the Super Nintendo, maybe.
Oh.
There was that. Well, I'm thinking Mutant League football.
Mutant
That was
League
Sega
Hockey
Genesis.
and Mutant League Football. Yeah.
That was
that
Sega
shit dope.
Genesis. The robot one you're
Well-
talking about, yeah, where you're basically one of your characters has like a wheel, like the running back and all that, wheel legs and all that.
Oh yeah,
Hover.
backyard baseball is back. Because now we're talking about baseball and baseball games. The best baseball game is back. That's right, backyard baseball is back, and I can't wait to play it. And that one, you have a kid in a wheelchair who's like the fastest kid in the game.
He's
He's
got
got
wheels.
wheels. Yeah, he's got
Uh,
wheels.
Base Wars is what it was called.
Ah.
Base Wars.
There you go.
There was
Base
I
is
had-
loaded. That's back when we had to write down our stats and make our own leagues.
I had the NHL game. It was the last one that Mario Lemieux was in before his first retirement, and they had like Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux, and I just played as the Penguins all the time because whenever you grew up in Pittsburgh in that time frame, it was like Super Mario's God, not the one from Nintendo.
You can always lay out Wayne Gretzky in the early NHL games, and you'd fucking bleed all over the ice.
Cross-check the shit out of
I
everybody.
remember this
gosh.
fucking game.
This is, dude. I played the fuck
yeah.
out of this when I was a kid. Before
So
I got
nice.
my N64. Right. This is what I played.
Oh,
Ball. I love the voices on old games.
The
Like the
music is great too.
right.
I
But
think I
then-
rented that from a grocery store,
But then
Safeway
the
or something.
best part was when there was a close play. When there was a really close play on the base, you got to fight the other robot.
I
Stop it! He's already dead.
Real
Yeah.
baseball games need this. You actually have to physically fight the person to get the base.
Hey, they do that sometimes.
Yeah, there
They
you
do.
go. Fucking
I
Barry
fucking
Bonds
love
just
that shit.
spikes someone on their head whenever he's on his roids.
See, but you have to keep the original like 3-bit sound effects in there. You can't like update it. It has to be like, meow, 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 meow.
How was MLB the Show this year, Biggles? You're the show guy here.
Let's say I didn't buy it. I'm
Good man.
It's worse than last year from everything I heard. After they decided they wanted to drop seasons where you can only use your cards that you buy for the first month, and then they made it to where if you wanted the best content when it came out, you had to buy it. And I said, fuck you guys, I'm not buying the game. Your pitching was dog shit last year, so I'm not buying it this year. And it turns out I was right because the game is dead before the playoffs, which has never happened before. So MLB The Show this year sucked ass.
Oh,
and I didn't buy it.
Well, talk about a drop off. Madden used to do like they'd have the weekly matchups like lined up and they'd update it each week. Like, oh, they'd match it to real life. Be like, okay, the Bengals are 0-3 and they're, playing the Panthers who are 1-2 this week. You can play that game and start your season from there. And then they just stopped doing it like as frequently. They did it like a couple times and they do it in the playoffs. And then they were just like, we're just not doing that at all. It's like, what the fuck? You're taking away features as we get better consoles.
It probably kind of depends on like where you're looking at too, because the vast majority of people are probably logging into Madden and either playing franchise mode, season mode, or My Ultimate Team.
Well, the Ultimate Team
just logging in to do a quick game or something.
Yeah, the Ultimate Team is what killed every other game mode in Madden because they discovered they could milk everybody for card packs, and it's just like kind of what we were saying with GTA. Yeah.
Well, they figured out that they could milk 5% of their players for 90% of the profit for the game, and
well,
I'm gonna have to get off. I'm gonna have to jump off real quick, guys. But I try to get in as long as I can, but. Let somebody else in. I gotta go do family stuff, but
hey, thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chat too.
There you go. Check out Arrakis Central. Go check it out. Thanks, man.
Oh yeah, my main channel. Yep, I had a person up at the game show, Tokyo Game Show, all weekend actually. So I have some footage and things coming from that.
Hell yeah.
Dune, other stuff too, other games. So he got to play Stalker 2 and the remake for Snake Eater. So
I'm so excited for that, dude, because I'm a big Metal Gear fan.
Yeah, I love Metal Gear Solid 3, top 5 game all time for me. I'm just fucking
commencing
that game.
the transmission now.
But that stuff's up on my Arrakis Central channel, and yep, I hit 50K subs on that channel. I don't even know how.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
So
Let's spend all the appearances on the RK Outpost live Sunday supporter.
I hope so. But that's my Graph Tanker channel is just like a nothing channel, but my other channel is Arrakis Central. It's all Dune, everything Dune merchandise. Oh, can I announce something real quick, or do you?
Sure.
Oh, I'm going to be doing a giveaway on that channel, and if that's allowed, okay. But I'm going to be giving away this graded 10 Lady Jessica Topps 2024 card. So you can't get these, and I have a whole bunch of unboxings. If you go look on eBay, these things are worth now. But so next week I'll be doing a live giveaway on that thing, and kind of help the channel out, I guess.
Cool. Oh yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it. Nice. I appreciate you coming by. So thank you.
I'll be doing an announcement video on it as well on that channel, and then so hopefully I get some
Arrakis Central.
Yep, it's all just Dune. Nothing too crazy. All Dune merchandise, movie reviews, lore. I'll be playing that game when it comes out, Dune Awakening. So it's more highly produced than my Graph Tanker channel, that's for sure. But
you excited for the Prophecy show?
Kinda. It's not really gonna. It looks loosely based on Sisterhood of Dune, so the book. It's not really.
Well, it was originally titled, I think, Dune Sisterhood. And I think they realized that might not be a great title in today's landscape. And I think that's one of the reasons they changed it. So, but yeah, so I'm sure that is probably what it's going to be based off of.
Yeah, the book is pretty good, but I don't see a lot of casting for like the main bad guy or whatever you want to call it is Valia Harkonnen. And in the book, she's like 24 years old or something. And here she's like 50. So I guess it takes place after that. I don't know. I mean, the book is basically, they're not even the Bene Gesserit yet. They're just the sisterhood. And they're like, there's only like one Reverend Mother at the point in the book that took poison. And
That was
then
one of his
they all,
son's books, right?
yeah, the Brian Herbert, and it's basically how they kind of get kind of screwed over. They're doing some shady stuff, the Sisterhood, and the Emperor at the time calls them out, and he confronts them at their planet, and then there's more going on of that. There's like Borean Atreides is running around. He's basically not immortal, but he lives to be like hell old. He's the first Atreides.
Yeah.
And he's like, basically his family they're all dying. So he just leaves and starts a new family. And then he has a family on a planet that gets enslaved, and he has to go rescue him at a slave auction, and then murders everybody who enslaved his entire family. And he goes and hides out on Dune, and he's basically kind of riding worms and all that kind of stuff with this free Fremen, whatever lady. And then his other clone siblings are awakened by some jihadi guys that are basically cleansing the known universe of all AI machines, the remnants, because they won, right? And then they would get wakened up, and they're clones of that same dad, whatever, the evil guy, Agamemnon, that made the first Atreides. They wake up, so they want to go kill him, and they're just murdering everybody that wakes them up. And then
Agamemnon was the head in the jar, right? The like Titan, giant robot body.
The Cymex. The 20 Cymex put their heads in like basically RoboCop 2 style. And
just
they
the
are
brain, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just their brain, and they can move it around the canisters around the ships. They can go into ships and walkers and all kinds of death machines.
Yeah.
And they're kind of working with the AI during that whole time. But they all get overthrown, and because Vorian, he's working for him in the beginning in the other books. He's actually kind of thinks humans need to be cattle, and then he starts realizing, oh, my dad's evil. So there's more to it than that in those books. But so the first Atreides was a bad guy, and the Harkonnens were good guys actually in the beginning. But interesting,
weird how that worked. But that's kind of stuff you can check out at Arrakis Central. So thanks, man. Go spend some time with the family if you need to.
All righty, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a good one.
See you, man.
Later, bro.
Later.
Go. And Sleazy, I know it's really late for you where you're at. Are you going to hang around or are you out?
No, I'm gonna take off. I'm just gonna shill my shit for a second. Check out my channel, Sleazy Society. Here in the next, I want to say 2 months, because I'm putting pressure to my programmer. We should be releasing a trailer for the game we've been working on, and then this week I will be live streaming. It'll probably be 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern. But I'm going to do some mall tours, because there's some crazy stuff I know people haven't seen in malls. Because, malls aren't a thing in the U.S. anymore.
Yeah.
Not really.
But here, like, every mall's a mega mall. It's insane. But yeah, I'll do that, do some food reviews, some food live streams, because food's delicious here. But yeah, that's it for this week, at least.
Enjoy your cat.
Oh, yeah, man.
Your dog.
Go check out Sleazy's channel and enjoy your time in Asia before you have to come back.
Always
your
do.
anime girls.
Yeah, I'm right.
Doing all the lady boys.
No.
All right.
See you later.
Please.
Later, Sleazy.
Later.
All
I
right.
should
Shout
have
out
asked him to give me Tifa's
Sleazy.
phone number. Oh, well.
Real quick, we'll get to some of these chats. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure 5. Paul Tassi has confirmed that Agatha is a smashing success. Take that, bigots.
Bastion of Truth, Paul Tassi, yes.
Well, what I will say is I liked actual Paul Tassi's first article where he was calling out the people that were trying to make it seem like it was like comparing it to Acolyte and being like, oh, look, blah, blah, blah. And I thought he made like an interesting point because he did correct, the people that were trying to make it seem like it was bigger than Penguin. Because Paul Tassi rightly pointed out, no, this is a number that's just based over 4 days, not an entire week. He said HBO Max streaming service significantly fewer than Disney Plus. He failed to mention, maybe because he didn't know, that it was a global number for Agatha versus just US for Penguin. But he at least did try to point out something right in that. But now he's talking about the budget. We still don't know what the budget is for Agatha, but there's a new report out that it's like the lowest of any live action MCU show, which if that's the case, if we actually get a number on that, then you know what? Then it not having a lot of people watching isn't the worst thing in the world. It's certainly not an acolyte type of situation, but if it doesn't end up showing up anywhere on the top 10, it's going to be an embarrassing moment for Marvel for sure.
Yeah, and by the way, the Acolyte petition has now reached 80,000 signatures, which I'm totally sure will justify the $230 million they spent for that show. Just to get
tried it
that.
200 times,
Is that what
like
it is?
200 different names.
80,000 at $10 a month. If they all subscribe to Disney Plus solely for that, then that means they could make like $800,000 from this show, which totally pays for season 2.
Yeah, that's like the thing.
Math.
There's just not enough fucking people watching it to justify anything.
And you just know, I was about to mention this on Melvin's stream yesterday, but you know, if Leslie Headland had her way and she got a season 2, she would have loved to have had a lightsaber duel between Yoda and Plagueis. And then, like, at the end, they all bang their heads and get amnesia just to justify everything.
Dude, it would be Yoda and Kamir would, like, go shirtless and start fighting Yoda. Yeah.
I don't think we would have seen Yoda and Plagueis fight.
But that's the thing. Like, Lucasfilm is under the Filoni mentality of it doesn't matter if it makes sense as long as it looks cool.
Someone goes into the world between worlds and it goes to that point where they're fighting and sprays amnesia dust in their face.
Exactly.
It makes complete sense with the world between worlds.
Oh my gosh, how unfair.
I think they wouldn't really
Speaking
give you
of,
that much Plagueis or Yoda. I think they would just use it and jangle it out there again and say, now we need season 3.
Well, Purist, it would be just enough to stick in the trailers, just like that cavalry charge from Rings of Power, where they made it look like that was the start of an epic fight, and then they all just, in the show, they just stop and don't fight.
Imagine stopping that charge when you have like the positional advantage, the fact that it's still day out. Imagine stopping that charge because they have one elf prisoner. Who fucking cares?
Didn't a horse die? Like horses died on that set too?
Yes.
One horse died on set, but I don't know if it was filming that specifically or not. Who knows?
Okay.
But yeah, one horse did die on set. I don't remember what the cause was. One of their buildings also got struck by lightning and caught on fire as well. So kind of just
God's wrath.
Token
is
God,
striking.
like, cancel this stupid show. I don't want to see it.
Token
As
is
soon as
striking
God
from
read the
beyond the
script for
grave.
season
Spitting in the
2,
face of
like,
God.
right,
They came out
like,
with this show too.
The
I was strike
blasphemy.
thee down.
Wolf from Heart, hashtag rescue Dave Filoni's dog. 199.
Impossible.
And then GraphWeb says, for fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus.
Never owned it.
I was gonna say I never had it.
Me neither.
I just always hope that with Gary's watch along, he hasn't done one for Agatha, but for Rings of Power, I always hope that they're on for the Disney shows some other sites before he gets to them, so that I can watch along with him, because I don't sub to Disney Plus either.
I get special deliveries on mine. I don't sub to it either.
Yeah,
Right.
Darth Pause brings up a good point. Yoda versus Plagueis. Well, it actually would be terrible, but
Yeah.
it's still not worse than Yaddle versus Dooku.
We've
That
never
is
seen Yaddle
something
fight.
that like people don't talk about enough. Is that in that fucking dumbass Tales of the Jedi from Dave Filoni? Yaddle actually discovers what Dooku is up to and discovers that he's a Sith and meeting with the Sith Lord, and then it's like Palpatine and all this shit. Like, it's fucking insane that Yaddle discovers that, then has this big girl boss fight with Dooku, which is completely not true. That's a retcon that never fucking happened. But they did it in Tales of the Jedi because they thought it would be a cool girl boss moment, and they got what's her name to voice Yaddle. Red hair, Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard. Bryce Dallas Howard voiced the character of Yaddle. And that probably doesn't get talked enough about. I hear occasionally people like praising Tales of the Jedi, and I think it's retarded and gay and stupid.
Nobody watched it.
Like that
I
point
didn't even know it existed.
is terrible.
Yeah,
So the
I
Jedi-
didn't even know it was a thing.
So the Jedi Council is not suspicious about one of their members just disappearing?
Well, we
The
learned from the
Jedi are
Acolyte that
idiots,
Jedi don't
so
know
that's
anything
the
about.
issue.
Yeah. They don't keep track of a bunch of people dying. They just kind of are like, "Hey, where's Jim this week? Oh, I think he died on a mission or something. I don't know. It was like 10 other people that disappeared this past week. We haven't really noticed. We're only the Jedi Council. It's fine."
He got struck with space AIDS.
Space age.
The Ahsoka episodes were even fucking worse. They were horrendous.
I will say this. I hate Ahsoka worse than the Acolyte. The Acolyte at least was funny to me, just how bad it was. Ahsoka actively pissed me off because it was so stupid. And the final episode was titled "The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord." Like Filoni's not even hiding the fact that he's ripping off C.S. Lewis and Tolkien because he's a freaking fraud. Oh my god! And all the episodes.
Ahsoka the White, Ahsoka the Gray, Ahsoka the White. Don't you guys get it,
guys? She's so amazing.
Exactly, subhuman. Those are the real ones.
That was the opposite of the.
Couldn't even come up with a new name. That Filoni couldn't even come up with a new name for this little Jedi show he wanted to do. He had to call it Tales of the Jedi and use the same fucking logo from the comic run back in the 90s.
And then Tales of the Empire is really Tales from the Empire, and that's another ripoff. And Rey's Jedi Order is going to probably be the new Jedi Order because that's what they like to do.
See,
and not to mention like what they've done to Barris's character, like they turn her into a traitor who like tries to kill Jedi and blow up the temple. That was never what her character was. But again,
he also really de-aged her a lot too. Questionable.
Which, by the way, there's one channel that I like to shout out. It's called "I'm Your Alibi." They recently did a watch along of one episode. There's one episode that people love to point to say, "Look, the Clone Wars is so amazing, guys."
The Umbara arc.
Yeah, it's the one where Padme and Ahsoka go to the Separatist capital, and it's the one where they introduce what's his name, Lux Bonteri or whatever. There's this weird scene where like the camera pans from down to up on Ahsoka's body, just like emphasize her looks or whatnot. I just think this girl is supposed to be 15 years old. It's so freaking creepy, man.
Well, Dave Filoni has a body pillow of her filled with those little beads,
oh my goodness.
filled with those little beads that are supposed to simulate a thingamabob. Yeah.
Oh my Jesus.
He loves touching 15-year-olds.
And dogs.
And dogs.
Well, worse than anything else is that she's just a dog shit character and always has been. But yes, Tales of the Jedi, the only thing that I think is okay from that is one of the episodes with Qui-Gon and Dooku, like when Qui-Gon's still Dooku's apprentice. But even then, it's a little over the top for Dooku to be so quick to anger and just murder people and potentially in cold blood, and Qui-Gon has to like hold him back from it. That you'd be like, God, there's some real fucking warning signs for this guy.
Master, you're clearly going to turn evil. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
This right here is called foreshadowing.
I hate it when they just have like, this character is going to be evil in the future, so let's just have him obviously reveal that, even though it's supposed to be a secret into the Attack of the Clones movie, where they're like, oh, Dooku would never be violent like that. He wouldn't do this. Trust me. He used to be a
political
Jedi.
idealist, not a murderer.
So do you think, Ryan, that they're going to cancel the Rey fucking movie? Like, realistically, I don't.
No.
It's an inference off of a scooper that sucks. Basically, and somebody inferring it on an article.
Canceling the Rey movie would be an even bigger admission of failure than canceling the Acolyte. Because Rey is...
If I were betting, I would definitely say that the Rey movie sees the light of day at some point.
Exactly.
Well, they've had the director and they've had the main actress come out and already like promoting it. Like, it's not like they did that for Acolyte season 2, where they were like, "Oh yeah, we can't wait for season 2. Let's announce all the directors for season 2 and then cancel it."
And also, let's remember that Acolyte season 2, it was not an announcement. They never expected to have that embarrassment fall in their lap. That's not something they wanted to talk about. Acolyte season 2, it was probably just going to be the same way that, people asking for a new Kenobi season, blah, 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 right? They were just kind of never going to address it.
Boba Fett.
It got leaked to either Hollywood Reporter or Deadline or somebody. It was a leak from someone at Lucasfilm who said, yeah, Acolyte's canceled. And then the headline started. It wasn't a big Lucasfilm announcement that, by the way, we're canceling the Acolyte.
Yeah. And then Amanda eliminated all doubt when she mentioned it in her video. That was the first time I heard it from the horse's mouth. Just to be clear, I'm not talking about her. That's a phrase. But anyways, but you heard it from somebody who actually worked at Disney that was like, oh, okay, now it is 100% because it was rumors kind of before that.
And you don't have Daisy Ridley on freaking Twitter like, oh, make sure you tell everyone you want to see my movie and da-da-da, because they were basically preempting that on Twitter as well.
Instead, she's just saying, I can't change the way men view women. That's just how it works. Because
it does seem like it's kind of in the Blade category, though, right? They're on script number 6 now, I think, because they had 2 original scripts, and then the Peaky Blinders guys written 4 of them now, supposedly.
Well, where is that coming from, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, where is that? Oh, he's turned in 4 different iterations, and they keep sending it back for notes. And it's like, reportedly, Kathleen Kennedy keeps sending it back for notes. I'm like, I have a tough time buying some of this information.
Yeah, well, the first 2 writers are confirmed, though, right? That they did switch the writers out twice.
Yes.
So it's on 3 no matter what.
Because originally, Damon
Yeah, I know.
Lindelof. Yeah, they were the ones that got booted off at first. They were looking at doing an older version of Rey, and then they brought in the guy from Peaky Blinders. Obviously, the actors' strike and writers' strike changed things, which then bumped up the Peaky Blinders guy in the middle of the production of the Peaky Blinders movie. Still trying to work on the Star Wars thing. I personally think it'll see the light of day eventually. I just do.
If they canceled it, Charmin Obaid-Chinoy would go scorched earth on Disney because she would not keep her mouth shut and be like, "Oh, yeah, it's unfortunate." She'd be like, "What the fuck? These sexists, or they eliminated the woman's voice in Star Wars."
Anti-Muslim.
Yeah, it's
not like
a disaster.
women haven't shaped the past 10 years.
Yeah, women have been shaping Star Wars for 10 years, and look how that's turned out for all of us.
What in the fuck are they thinking? Hiring a documentary worker to direct a movie. What are you thinking?
They're not thinking. That's the problem.
Given what she said, though, she would not play ball if they canceled her movie. She said it herself that she's an activist, so I don't think she would play good PR for them if they ever did that. She'd be like full on against them.
Yeah, and that's where that's why I am pretty sure that eventually it'll see the light of day at some point. To bring them up on stage at Star Wars Celebration and announce that with those 2 people, I just cannot see them swallowing their pride and canceling that movie.
Yeah, and the people that are pushing that are they're going to retcon the sequels. Like, come on, the sequel trilogy lore is like interwoven into all the Disney Plus shows. Like, it's fucking all over the place.
All the Mando shit. It's in
Bad Batch,
Operation Necromancer.
You like Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, all the sequel, like there's sequel references in those things. Like High Republic references in Survivor.
It's not like Halloween where they said, "Oh, everything past 1 is now eliminated for this 2018 movie," because that was just movies that came out. Yeah, there's way too much multimedia and just a tangled mess of canon that they would have to chop off. It would be a mess.
Yeah, and once they're done with this Rey movie, they're going to remake the original trilogy because that's their last play. They're going to recast everyone, which, quite frankly, I'm all for recasting Luke because fuck Mark Hamill.
They'll wait until George is dead. It's like what they did with Stan Lee. They started making fun of the Mandarin character's name in the freaking Shang-Chi movie, shit like that, just spitting on his grave. They'll do the same thing.
It'll be like Sony and remaster the sequels, even though they only came out a few years ago. Be their Horizon.
Yeah.
Re-release it with like 2 different scenes.
Yeah, you've got the Sony fanboys asking them, please remaster Bloodborne. No, we're going to remaster The Last of Us for the 5th time.
How about something a lot smarter like you can, in case people don't know, the PlayStation 5 is backwards compatible. So why don't you remaster some shit that I can't play on it right now? PS3,
Exactly.
PS2 games. Hello.
I've already got my copy of Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't need to buy it again just for slightly prettier graphics.
I'm gonna be real. I wouldn't be surprised if when they do completely, and I've said this for 10 years or whatever, that eventually they'll remake the movies. I would not be surprised if they remake them that Ewan McGregor plays Obi-Wan.
Oh,
I just wouldn't be surprised. And maybe even they put Hayden as like Vader and shit like that, and do a James Earl Jones like fucking AI voice thing. I wouldn't be surprised if we have elements of those things still in there to try to like get people to go. The idea of idea of a 55, 60-year-old Ewan McGregor playing the older Ewan McGregor role, or the older Obi-Wan role in the rebooted Star Wars. I just think that there's something there that Disney would be into.
Yeah, because you can grab people
from
that generation. Yeah.
They would make Reva prominent instead of like Grand Moff Tarkin. They make it fit in with the Obi-Wan show.
Will Aunt Beru be a gangster like she is in Kenobi, though, right?
They'll also have a scene of her before she's killed by the stormtroopers. She'll kill like 600 stormtroopers, dual-wielding pistols and flamethrowers. As Uncle Owen pisses himself.
Twist, she's the one that burns down the thing and accidentally kills them both.
Well, that's what happens when you put a woman in charge.
But Darth Paz put The Last Jedi, the Filoni cut. It would probably still be better than the fucking Rian Johnson one. That was fucking awful.
Not really. He was giving Rian Johnson notes and stuff too, right? Back then.
Yeah, it would probably.
I don't think. Well, I don't think that Filoni was giving Rian Johnson notes back then. I think Filoni shadowed Rian Johnson to learn more about actual like filmmaking during.
But wasn't he giving Rian Johnson the quote unquote lore that Dave Filoni quote unquote knows?
I don't think we've ever heard any reports about that from Last Jedi. Now, if you want to talk about the overall structure of the direction of Star Wars, with a lot of the big executives at Lucasfilm, right after the release of Force Awakens and while Last Jedi was in production, that's where you can find those quotes from Dave Filoni in a room full of these people, where he really pushes the idea of Leia being the nurturing, or Leia being like the overall trainer of Rey, and this idea of the matriarchy subverting the patriarchy and how powerful that would be in Star Wars. Like that's what that group of executives discussing the path forward. But I don't know if we've ever heard any like actual report of Dave Filoni giving Rian Johnson any like lore advice or anything like that. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. Now, for the Obi-Wan series, yes, Deborah Chow said that like Dave Filoni was like her touchstone when it came to questions about Star Wars and things that she should do in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and stuff like that. 100%.
Leslie Headland said the same thing. She spoke with Dave, and he gave her a lot of pointers.
Here's a new
but he was already pretty much CFO at that point. But they gave him another promotion before that, and like in that article back then, what was it, 19? It already said that he basically had control over like not control, but he, basically was ahead of all the story ideas and this, that, and the other. So he basically got essentially
I think that was in 21 that you're thinking about.
Yeah, I have it on a video, but yeah, I have it highlighted and like zoomed in. But
because in like 2021, I think there was like people discovered that the website had been updated, and everyone's like, oh my God, Dave Filoni's got a big promotion. This means that he's winning the Civil War and blah, 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 this stuff. But then Lucasfilm came out and responded and like, yeah, he actually got this position about 8 months ago. He got this promotion. We just didn't update the website. And so it's like, okay. So for like a year before that was public, he was already doing all those things and had all that responsibility. That kind of tracks with, as soon as they started creating the Mandoverse, is really when Dave Filoni became that guy.
Yeah,
And
you know,
wasn't-
2019 is Kevin Feige. Excuse me. That's when he was the head of all of Marvel, including the comics division, because now there's this new, now Feige's going to include stuff in the con. No, they had already made that announcement like back in 2019. So yeah, I'm mixing the years up on the people, because basically Feige is Filoni 2.0. I mean, obviously he has more accredited to him because of the MCU and all that, but I would attribute that more to the creatives they had on back when they were in, Paramount before, during the Marvel purchase and all that, and like some of the layover,
And Feige got off to a great start with his new vision with WandaVision and then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like right when you have like the Perlmutter, ousted stuff and all that, and then because he was pumping the brakes on a lot of shit that they were trying to do, not maybe him in particular, but like his, alliances and all that inside Disney. And I'm not saying he's the savior and all this, but it did go downhill right after that. I mean, just look at the writers and the directors in phases 1 and 2, and then look at what it started becoming.
Yeah,
Which,
it's like
which by the way, that trailer for the Thunderbolts looked so lame. Like, what have they done to the Winter Soldier?
It just doesn't look interesting at all.
He has a dad bod now.
Well, they started with a joke. I was asking people on another stream, like, do you know or remember a scene where the Red Guardian doesn't act like a juggling clown?
No.
That's like his thing.
Yeah, the whole Black Widow movie.
Yo, Pops, I know you got to take off, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off. So,
What do you want to plug before you go?
So every Wednesdays, I don't know if you guys heard about the GCA, but we do a stream on there on Wednesday nights. I'll be on there most times, and then I'm also on I'm not doing anything on my YouTube channel, but it's YoPops215, and also on X too. So if you need a friend or need a follower, just let me know. I'll follow you back. But hey, Ryan, thanks for having me on. You guys have a good rest of your day. All right.
Hey, peace, man. Have a good one.
Later, guys.
Later.
And there goes Yo Pops. And we've been talking about just like such random shit today, but we have been going for an hour and a half. So we're going to start wrapping it up and let everybody pimp their channels on the way out. Biggles, you need some watch time, right?
Yeah, I need about 600 watch hours, and I need 78 more subs, and then I am monetized on my channel, but we got to do it within like a week. Otherwise, I lose a shit ton of watch hours. And then if we do it before Tuesday of next week, that Wednesday is going to be a 24-hour stream. And for those of you that don't know me, I can't do 24-hour streams. So we're going to do our best. And I can't have caffeine, but I will have one caffeine energy drink that will make me look like a freaking crackhead, because that's how bad caffeine is for me. So we're going for it. So if you guys can help me out, that would be awesome. And it is youtube.com/BigglesMets. I just put all the links in the chat, so I don't want to re-spam the thing with the links. So look in the chat. They're right there.
There you go. Shout out Biggles. Support Biggles. Get him to that goal so we can see him do his 24-hour stream. Our man Gabriel Knight, what do you got going on, man?
Not a whole lot to plug other than just get out and vote for Trump. Get your friends and family to get out and vote, and your neighbors, because if that cackling moron gets in, she's going to shred our First Amendment. I mean, they basically all but said that if she wins, she's going to start turning the screws of social media and ramp up the censorship. So
Gabriel, you're saying we need to get our fat asses out of bed and go vote?
Yes.
Wake up.
Exactly.
But guys, according to Stacey Abrams, it's the Republicans who are for censorship. She quoted Star Trek with that in that Geeks for Harris bullshit.
Oh God, y'all watch that? Ugh.
I just saw some highlights. There ain't no way I was going to watch that.
So unbearable. Oh,
Linda Carter. She used to be hot and sane. Now she's insane, old, and clearly drug-addled brain.
She was,
I don't know.
Yeah, she was Xanaxed up that night. I don't know what the hell was up with her.
She was probably wine drunk.
That too.
Grandmaster Chris, what do you got going on, man?
Not much. You can follow me on Twitter and on YouTube. I'm still working on a a big video I'm making for Star Wars, but unfortunately it's taken me a lot longer than I would like to because I've been so busy with work and family time. Just last week, my dad celebrated his birthday. He actually shares a birthday with Sam and Bilbo from Lord of the Rings, September 22nd. So I keep saying Happy Hobbit Day to him. But aside from that, I'm still working on it, and hopefully I can get it done soon. Aside from that, just watching the videos. Keep up the good work, Ryan, and the rest of you guys, because you guys are all doing great work.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. So go check out Grandmaster Chris. John Getz, what are you up to?
Well, not too much. Released a review for Outlaws first, which was kind of a low effort one, like the game, and then I put together a very loving one for Astro Bot after I finished that, because I talk about 24-hour streams. I played a 9 hours straight, not even intending to beat the final challenge at 2 a.m. I was like, so, had that video going. That's actually doing all right. And yeah, we're going to be playing, in honor of Assassin's Creed Shadows getting delayed, I am playing the first Assassin's Creed game with the black protagonist, which is Freedom Cry, the DLC for Black Flag. Yeah, it's downloaded, and so I'm kind of aping on that news story, just going, I've wanted to play this for a while, so this seems like an appropriate time. So I'll be playing that probably today or tomorrow.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. I've been thinking about going back to play. What is the one where you play as the half Indian one? Three. Yeah.
Play as Jacob.
Syndicate in London, I really like. That's an old school kind of setup one that's really fun. Brother and sister.
Dude,
that's the one that
Syndicate was criminally underrated for when it came out because of all the bullshit from Unity.
Yeah, and that game has a great DLC with Jack the Ripper. That's a really good.
I hate Jacob so much that's why I quit Assassin's Creed games, was because of Jacob.
I don't think the issue was with Jacob. I think the issue was with the order in which you played characters. Like, you're going to make me play as Jacob's badass Templar father and then make me start from nothing with his kid that he fathered by raping an Indian woman. Oh, whoops.
No, wait. What's
No.
What? That's Connor. That's Connor. Jacob is in Syndicate.
Connor is Assassin's Creed 3.
Okay, I'm getting them backwards. Sorry.
His dad hates them.
I had to take some pain medication today.
Well, there's also been about 300 Assassin's Creed games, so I can't exactly blame you for that.
I've platted everything through Odyssey, by the way.
I don't know how anyone can get through Odyssey. That game is so boring.
I liked Odyssey, actually.
Odyssey was fine. The issue that you were running into more than likely is the way they actually handled their XP ratios, because they balanced the game around a certain XP rate that you would get, and then they cut the XP gain and then sold you the booster to get you back to the balanced one. So you would have a lot of side missions to
if you spend an extra few bucks, you can skip the progression altogether.
Yeah, you don't have to randomly seek out these places to fucking infiltrate that take forever, and it's the same thing over and over again to get to the next fucking capital location. Yeah. That was the annoying part of that one. But long story short, thank you, John Getz. Shout out to John. Go check out his channel. Star Wars Marvel Purist.
Thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we're rocking and rolling. I got partially monetized about a month and a half ago. We've had 2 member live streams now. Got up to about 73 members, unlocked a bunch of emojis. Right now, we just finished off a bunch of different comic runs. We're on Tales of the Jedi, Fall of Sith Empire, Maximum Carnage. I'm about to start Steve Englehart's Silver Surfer, which came out in the late 80s. I'm going to do an outline of the Marvel Cosmic Universe and the the 3 main galactic empires in the Marvel Universe before we drop that. And just doing deep dive lore videos, with I had Raging Rhino on to do the Plagueis novel, OG Star Wars to do the Kenobi book, and Grizzy and Fractured Filter to do the KOTOR game. We're going to be starting the new Jedi Order. I'm going to have OG Star Wars and Darth Paz and Star Wars Scran on to cover Vector Prime. And then me and Tim from United Spacers Alliance are going to be doing the duology after Vector Prime. And then I'm getting the Marvel side started too. Going to do that Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange Triumph and Torment with Darth Paz as well. And Liquid Blake and me are going to do Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force. So yeah, we got lots of stuff going on. I've got actually shitloads of watch time. Like I don't think I'll ever have to worry about watch time at all. My subs are just where it's at right now. I'm at like 628 or something. So I just need to get to 1,000 on the subs and then we're good. We'll be fully monetized and ready to go. So, but I appreciate my audience is actually, you know, watching significantly, obviously, because I have a lower sub count, but a lot of watch time. So appreciate that from all of them. So yeah, sub to the channel, check it out. You know, we cover only, you know, OG Star Wars and Marvel.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. And last but not least, Sir Reefer, got anything to plug?
Not if you want to look at Twitter's from the shitter. Like, that's all I do. But this is your monthly reminder. Don't give money to corpos.
There you go. Thank you, Reefer. Do you have one other thing?
Oh, I was going to say, I need people to stop simping for Wukong. That's bullshit. It's Chinese. Like, if it was made by anyone else, I'd give it to you. Don't pay them money, please, for the love of God.
The problem is that I've played probably 8 to 10 hours of it at this point.
I know.
And the problem is that a lot of Western gaming's become so bad and so fucking influenced with shit that something comes from China. And it'd be one thing if it was like promoting Chinese propaganda, but it's just a fucking story based on
I get it. Like,
you know?
and this is my thing, is like, I don't want to take anything away from the game itself. Like, the game as a game looks fantastic. The subject material is incredible. Journey to the West is an awesome story. And it's clear the devs cared very much about this, and they made a game that people would want to play. It's just an unfortunate circumstance that all money that flows through them will then guaranteed flow to that government.
Hey, Reefer, did you see Razor Fist's video about that?
Yes.
That was a great video.
It was.
And it's so sad that so much of Western entertainment is so terrible that we'll gladly give money to the CCP just to, like, get a little bit of escapism now and then.
Yeah.
But with that being said, guys, that's going to be it. I've got a stream coming up a little bit later today, a couple hours, well, 2-ish hours from now. I got to get ready for. So we appreciate you guys hanging out. Please support all these people the same way that you support me. And we will be back. Oh, I didn't see this one from you, Biggles. Didn't know I was a member here too. Well, you are.
Yeah.
10 months. Thank you.
You are.
I didn't
You
know.
are. But there we go. We'll talk to you guys next month. That will be, you know, I got to check this date. Supposedly the 27th of October. We may end up changing that one around a little bit because I think I'm going to be in San Antonio for the meetup and SpaceCon and stuff. So I think I'm going to be out of town for that next one. So we might have to look at that, put a pin in that, maybe do it on the Sunday after the first Sunday in November. So we'll get you the time and the date for that as we go on. But thank you guys. We'll talk to you next week. Peace. Or next month. Peace.
Next month.